Cool. We are live. What is going on? Happy belated holidays, Thanksgiving and whatnot. Hope y'all had a really great Thanksgiving this week. Was really busy actually just getting my life prepared and stuff. So if you guys don't know, I'm actually headed to Dan Pena's castle next week. I'm actually taking off on Thursday. Gonna land in Scotland in about I would say like on Thursday or something like that, and then gonna be spending the rest of the time at Dan Pena's castle. So that should be pretty cool. As far as like wow, I already got one like, and it says that there's 0 people on here, so pretty interesting, man. But thank you for the like, and was really cool. I mean, over this last week, I've actually just been chilling with some really great friends, man. I was chilling with my boy Joe from JK, man, and we were just catching up. And it goes to show you, man, friendships really go a long way. If you start off a friendship right, it's almost like an asset, man. You can always go back to where you were before, and you can always pick up. I've never really had that problem with any of my friends for the most part. Patrick Morty, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Tell me what's been up this week. Tell me what you are up to. What are you excited this week? I'd love to kind of hear from y'all. But some major things that are going to be happening. So if you guys don't know, I actually popped my I tore my meniscus doing jujitsu. And so today was the first time I actually kind of worked out. I did an upper body workout more than lower body, man. So I was doing a bro workout, but this Wednesday I'm going to do an MRI, and then after my MRI I'm going to Scotland. So it's going to be really freaking crazy, man. I've been doing this really cool challenge too. If you guys haven't checked out, I actually wrote an article on habits and whatnot. And I'm really loving this new habit tracker I made. So if you want to go refugeehustle.com/habit-tracker, it should pop up. Let me just make sure that I close all my screens, because there's a lot of things open that shouldn't be open. No, you sickos, not that type of stuff. But let me just close everything because my computer is slowing down. I can hear like the fans in the back going crazy, going ham. And so yeah, so this is what I've been working on, guys. So first of all, I've been kind of daily blogging. I was writing this post yesterday. I never finished it. But one of the things I've been really focusing on is habit tracking. And this was my ultimate guide to habit tracking. I'll put it in the comments below. And it's actually my new opt-in for Refugee Hustle, man. So hopefully you guys like it. But let me kind of I have this whole thing here. All you gotta do is just opt in, and it's for free, man. But let me kind of give you a sneak peek of what the habit tracker looks like. I think this is it. Is my habit tracker? Shit. Habit tracker. Yeah, I have a personal one and a public one. But Quentin Drew says, what's up, man? Yeah, so what am I up to recently? Yeah, so I actually had to shorten my list because I got injured and stuff. But one of the things I've been really loving is this goal to exclusively eat at home today. And what I realized is, like, once I master this skill, it's like really been helping me in all areas of my life. Staying keto, staying like compliant to my diet and stuff like that. I've been pretty good for the most part this weekend. It's kind of interesting. I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Really solid book. Really love the book. Just because I've been really identifying these core key habits that, you know, have always been in my life that I'm trying to nail down to get in the habit of consistently doing it. So I love to kind of hear some of the habits you guys want to nail down as well. I'm going to be bringing that. I'm going to be doing my best to have that all prepped up before I go to Dan Pena's castle next week. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty intimidated by Dan Pena. I have to submit my questions by the end of tonight. So, oh, man, it's going to be a different stage of my life, man. And I'm not looking at Dan Pena to be like the end all be all type of program, right? That's always the wrong expectation for any program that you're going. But I feel like it's going to open up a new world for me where, like, I've always been in kind of digital marketing and stuff like that. Really love digital businesses versus analog businesses. So will give me an insight on kind of like what analog businesses are like. What is it like to, what are all the steps to buy and flip a business, mergers and acquisitions and all that as well. NFG X Silent Gamer says, is clinical pharmacy as saturated as well? Yeah, man, just in general, the whole field is pretty saturated. Like, let me kind of go to this. I'm not sure if it will actually say on the Bureau of Labor, man. This is like the default site that I always go to for everything, and it will actually give a breakdown of the different work environments, right? So 26%. But that is a really great question. From what I know, like, yeah, it's pretty saturated too. But I wonder if they give a breakdown by locations and stuff like that as well. But let's see. Does it give a... I would have to take a closer look, but from what my friends are telling me, it's always been pretty competitive. It's probably even more competitive now. Just because here's the truth, man. A lot of people don't want to do community pharmacy. There's like it's a lot of tough work and stuff like that. So that's that, I guess, right? But you know, obviously there's careers within pharmacy that I'm trying to identify to see what good career choices are there. I actually reached out to a Air Force pharmacist, and he's getting the okay from his employer, and I might feature him as a guest on this channel too. So that should be really interesting. Obviously, you guys know my friend Brian Fung. He's really into informatics pharmacy. From when I last spoke to him, he said that informatics wasn't super saturated, but I have no idea at this point, right? But I feel like at the end of the day, you really want to figure out like what you want to do, like the end goal of your career choice, and does like that career choice really support my lifestyle? And sometimes it means starting up your own business, other times it doesn't, you know. And honestly, here's the truth, guys, like starting up your business is a pain in the ass. I think what Dan Pena says is like right on the money, man. It's so much easier to acquire like to buy wealth than to build it up. And starting up your own business from ground up, as sexy as it sounds and as much as people want to glorify it, when you have too many moving parts, too many moving people, like when you're managing people, it's not fun. Trust me, it is not fun. And there's a steep learning curve. No matter how good you think you are as a manager and stuff, like I thought I was pretty good, but going back, I just realized I was so naive. I probably wasn't the best manager, right? And every day I'm just learning like different skill sets as an entrepreneur, but that fits my lifestyle because right now in this period of my life, I really want to build up these core assets, right? Where I have the option to choose to live my life the way that I want, like those 4 core tenets. And maybe I'll write an article on this on Refugee Hustle, and you guys can steal it or take it if you want, but really making sure I have a remote income that is scalable, right? Making sure that what I'm doing is impactful. I'm solving real big problems in the world, right? Making sure that's challenging, cool, creative, right? And the last thing is hustling with homies, the people that elevate me. And when I started identifying these key factors in my life, and I was actually talking about it with my friend Joe, right? Like about, you know, he's living a life that he's really happy with, and we're just outline the undercore themes, right? And sometimes people, like if you get that from pharmacy, if you're like doing what Brian is doing, like technically Brian's job fits like those 4 tenets, right? Like he has a remote pharmacy job, right? He can work anywhere that he wants, right? He has what he's doing is pretty impactful. If you're working on different healthcare systems and stuff like that, that's pretty impactful. You have pretty you got that checked off, right? Also, is it cool, creative challenges? I mean, to Brian, that informatics pharmacy is really, really cool. So it checks that off. And the last one is he working with people that he loves working with? I don't know the answer to that question, but my guess, yeah, he's working with some of the best, like, top companies in the world and stuff. He enjoys that, you know, and, you know, not to say like going a 9 to 5, like that's why I've kind of changed my stance, because I feel like for a long time I was just like, no, fuck 9 to 5. I'm not about corporate life. I hate corporate. I hate the fakeness of it. But I also realize now that I'm a little bit older is that um not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5 as long as it supports everything that you want, your lifestyle. And I think that's the most important key thing because that I neglected when I was a lot younger was thinking about where I want to be in the future, right? So Zach King, what's up? Pretty interesting. If you haven't checked it out. Zach was actually in a Jubilee video, man. If you don't know what Jubilee is, it's like, I don't know. He was basically having a discussion. He did really well in it. I think he articulated his points really well. I mean, that's one of Zach's pros about him, man. He's so good at articulating. By the way, for the 4 people who haven't liked this video, make sure to smash that like button. Would appreciate it. Yeah, so other cool things, man. I've actually been linking up with this dividend investor. Her name is Sherry Tung, so you guys should check her out if you guys are interested in dividend investing and stuff. Let me take a look. Yeah, here we go. She talks all about dividend investing and stuff like that, and it's really cool. So I thought it was really interesting and stuff like that. So, and her channel's growing. Like if you look at her stats, man, like she is freaking growing. Like let's take a look at the last, I think, views. It's been trending upwards and stuff. So yeah. Back to questions. We have Ngu Fu. Sorry if I butcher your name. I am just accepted to 2 pharmacy schools in California. One is USC in Los Angeles. One is in California, North State University, Sacramento. Which one would you recommend me to go for? Really depends your end goal, bro. Like I always ask people, what is your end goal? What do you want to practice at the end? At the end of the day, you have to realize, it's not the school that makes you. Sure, if there's a certain professor or certain specialty a school like can direct you to, I would go into that school, but always start with the end in mind, guys. Like USC is a great school for like people tout USC as a great school. It's really expensive, but it's a great school for like networking, and that's what people say. And I met a lot of the faculty there. A lot of them are really smart. They're really innovative. They have a very pro like view for pharmacy, and a lot of my friends who went to USC like do a lot of hospital type of things. And if that's something that you want to do, maybe it's a good choice for you. But at the end of the day, you gotta ask yourself, what kind of pharmacy career do I want? Because a lot of the time people will end up in community. I mean, that was where most of the jobs are at. These days, not so much. So ask yourself whether you even really want to go to pharmacy, because there's great fields out. Like if you take a look at here, so I'm going to pull up the stats really quick. I pulled it up last week. Pharmacy, physician assistant. So let's take a look at this. And a huge important thing is like, what do you like about pharmacy? Because sometimes you might be able to get these aspects in different careers, right? Bureau of Labor. Hold on, let me just pull some of these up. Bureau of Labor, optometry. So let me kind of give you some like reference points, right? And I'll pull up nursing too. Nursing, Bureau of Labor, right? Because this is important, because you're going to have a lot of you're going to need a job or need to pay off that student loan at some point, right? So if we take a look at these 4 typical like these 4 different career paths and whatnot, let me just open this up. So take a look at the median pay. Okay, about 126, cool. But look at the job outlook. It's really bad. There's like no job outlook within the next 10 years, guys. All right, very important to keep in mind. If you like more bedside type of things and thinking about like, oh, different problems and stuff, maybe PA is great. Yeah, you take a 20K hit, but at the end of the day, you look at the job outlook. Much faster than average. There's a demand for this, right, within the next 10 years. So if you're planning to do PA, that might be a really great thing. Here's another one for like this one's 10%, right? 110 K per year, 112K per year right now. Oh, also growing faster than average. Registered nurses, 12%. So, you know, you really got to ask yourself whether you want to even do something like this to begin with, right? Why are you doing pharmacy? Is there a particular thing about pharmacy that I really like? And if you can identify that sooner, it's better, right? So I'm still wondering if I should enter a field because of job prospect. Yeah. So keep that in mind. I don't think it's the end all be all, but something important to consider, guys. Neither avoid pharmacy. Please take his advice. Anyway, what do you think about Joe and Jessica breaking up since they used to be my roommates? I mean, honestly, I wish them the best, bro. Like, I was talking to Joe, and I don't want to dive into too much of his personal life because that's really between him and Jess and stuff like that. But from what I see from the outside, because I've been hanging out with him a little bit more these days because he has more free time, he's really happy, man. He's like traveling around the world. It feels like old Joe before, like the fun Joe, you know. And it's just really nice to see, like, you know, I wish like Jess and Joe hold a pretty dear place in my heart, man, just because we spent time together, right? I saw them go through a lot of stuff through the house. Sometimes they would fight. That wasn't any secret, but I feel like Joe is really happy. I haven't really connected with Jess that much recently, but you know, he's happy, man. If he's happy, like it's better off. And it kind of sucks sometimes. And by the way, guys, smash that like button. Shameless plug. We got 11 people in here, but yeah, man, they're a lot happier these days. And sometimes it sucks knowing that, you know, you invested all this time, but it's important to just really keep in mind, like, what is the end destination? What's the kind of lifestyle that you want? And I think sometimes when they were together, they weren't living a lifestyle that you wanted, because Joe is a lot more reserved and stuff like that too. So those are just my thoughts, bro. CoffeeZilla is changing the whole game right now. I agree and disagree with certain things that he says, but he's needed for this online education world. I agree. Like, so CoffeeZilla, I understand where he's coming from. I think CoffeeZilla is like, the points that he brings up, yes, there's a lot of scammy motherfuckers out here for marketing, right? But one thing that he neglects to, well, not neglects, but one thing I'm very curious about is which internet gurus out there does he think that is doing it right? Who are the people that he thinks is marketing in a really great way? Because I'm just really curious about that, because he's been attacking almost every single guru out there, man. And so I just don't like people who just complain and stuff like that. And to have an honest critique, I would love for him to poke holes at the actual process of these programs, because I've bought a lot of programs. All right. I don't bitch and complain. Like, at the end of the day, like, it comes down to personal responsibility, because have I been ripped off by programs? Hell yeah. I have been ripped off. Well, not ripped off, but it wasn't as I was expected, right? And it was due to really good marketing. I get it. But at the end of the day, I took that calculated risk, and I know that risk was on me. It's no one else's fault. Like, dude, at the end of the day, it's on me. So, you know, do I admit that Dan Locke's marketing is sometimes like pretty manipulative? A little bit. I think he's kind of exaggerating a little bit about his claims, right? But honestly, did it help me get a 6-figure career? Yes. Did it help me push me into get a high income skill? It was the start of it. I wouldn't say it was the end all be all, but yes, right? And I like, and that's just how I felt, man. Like, I felt like sometimes like his claims were really, you know, pushing it, but I never felt like I was ripped off or gypped out of his program at all, because it helped me. Don't get me wrong, it helped get me where I wanted to go, but you know, I don't even call myself a Dan Locke closer because I've been so out of that world, to be honest with you, right? But it really helped set my mind straight when I was in a really rough time. It helped me. Every single word I said on those videos, I meant, right? And because that was my actual real story, man. So Yeah, man, he's changing game, really well needed, but I would love to kind of see some more positive critique from him, like poking holes at the process or like the skills, accountability, mentorship type of processes in there, the tools, the people, the assistance that you get from a program. Because come on, like I think it's absolutely stupid to feel like, oh, books will teach you everything, books will teach you how to launch a business. They can help, but it's just like this. Try and go to pharmacy school, based off of just reading a book. That's not going to happen. You know, you need some sort of accountability, you need some sort of mentorship along the way, even with traditional schooling, right? So that's how I feel. All right. So I'm a pharmaceutical business major, currently finishing up my MBA, but my parents still want me to do pharmacy. I tried pharmacy school for 3 years and changed majors. Any advice? Well, here's the truth, man. If you're, well, what do you want to do after you're done graduating NTG, man? I'd love to kind of hear that. But at the end of the day, don't listen to your parents, man. I don't know how old you are, but don't listen to your parents. Like, you went down this route of an MBA. Does it really make sense for you to do pharmacy if that's the career path that you really want to go down? I would not recommend it, just because of the landscape of pharmacy and stuff. Unless there's a specific role that you want to hit, being like a director of pharmacy or something at a hospital or something like that. Maybe that's pushing it, but like you should have a purpose if you're going to do your pharmacy. So I would not. You tried it. I would not go down that route again. You just close that door and just, tell your parents politely, fuck off, I guess, right? But you gotta understand where your parents are coming from. Like, I think that's important, but at the end of the day, you're the one that has to pay for those consequences. You're the one that's gonna have to pay for that school debt as well, right? Time, we shouldn't take time for granted. What's the most wanting demand in job in US right now? I have no freaking clue. I'm not a job recruiter or anything like that. But based off this actually, you know what? I'm kind of curious. So I kind of pulled up those 4 Bureau of Labor statistics. Like, I'm kind of curious for just like a regular physician. And keep in mind, these are very general statistics, right? So I'm looking at physicians. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? Nurses, physicians, physician assistants, optometrists. Is there anything else? Guys, leave me in the comments if you want me compared to anything else. But let's kind of take a look at this. Like, and this is strictly healthcare, guys. But like I said, 0% job outlook for pharmacy. Physician assistants, crazy, 31%. Optometry is 10%. Registered nurse is 12%. Physicians are 7%, so it's like faster than average. But you can tell, like, people are looking to get into healthcare and stuff like that, right? So that's all I can think of right now. Cool. So 7 people, or for I got 1 thumbs down for the 7 people who haven't liked or disliked this video, man. Shoot me some engagement points, guys. I love that. Make sure to subscribe this channel as well. Let's see. Kevin, what are the things that you like and dislike about HTC movement and community? If you can't speak on it, no worries. I understand. I will tell you this. This is my personal opinion. And I guess, like, there's too many people with fucking egos coming out the door and cold pitching people, saying, I'm a high ticket closer. At the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. Okay. Like, here's the truth. And people will actually laugh at you because guess what? The people before you fucked it up. They pitched people. They came in with huge egos. They promised the world, but didn't deliver. And I can't blame those people, because here's the truth. You can't. It's really hard. Like, to think that you're going to be a top-notch closer in 7 weeks. It's going to be hard. I mean, you have to have some experience at the end of the day. It's how you sharpen your axe, man. It's like for anyone that does martial arts, it's kind of like going into reading all these books and try and go into a cage, going into your first pro fight. Do you really think that you could beat like GSP or Khabib or any of these MMA stars or Conor McGregor, right? Just by reading books? I don't think so. Or maybe taking an online class? I don't think so. You need practice, right? And role play, the truth at the end of the day is not real. But it's the closest that you can get. I think for what you can do in 7 weeks, it's really great, right? It's really transformed me, transformed my mindset, transformed my relationship with money, made me really think. But there there are core aspects which I think are missing in a high ticket program, but that's any course, right? Like no course, no program is like foolproof, right? There's always holes, there's always things that you can make better. So that's my real sentiment about like HTC. I mean, I met some of my best friends through HTC, man, and we're not super active in the community as much anymore, but did change our lives. So I will give Dan that, man. Can you talk about academic probation? Says Ray Ray 20. Have you ever experienced it? So RA, I have never been on academic probation, but I've been on academic warning. Not only once in undergrad, but I hit it in pharmacy school during my P2 year at a accelerated school. And it was just that it was going really quickly. I'm not the most smartest person, book smart. I'm not the most book smart person, but one thing I did. So one thing I wish I did, like looking back, I wish I could pull out my books, but all my books are actually packed up because I'm getting ready to move out of this apartment. But I started looking at my habits and my schedule and how was I actually spending my time, and trying to take some time, because like when I was on academic warning, I was just spinning my wheels right in one place. I wasn't really thinking about, oh, why am I struggling? What am I not getting? What is coming up unexpectedly? And how do I best manage my time to get the desired results, right? And it's a tough thing to do sometimes, especially if you're doing like therapeutics, like in pharmacy school, where you're having constant different professors all the time. It's hard to crack the code. And so I thought that was the hardest thing, but I started really making sure that, okay, Kevin, why don't you take one step at a time? Am I doing all the basics? Am I taking care of myself? Am I working out? Check. All right, perfect. Am I waking up early and going to sleep like early too? Check. Perfect. Right. And am I blocking out time? And am I spending deep work time, like focused on the work, right? Am I attending class? Am I asking questions during office hours and stuff? Am I doing all that? What exactly am I being caught off guard? Am I spending the right time studying what I'm studying, right? Because people will tell you, read the textbook, but let's be real. Typically, there's so much in the textbook that you can't finish all the material. There's no no fucking way in the day, right? And so you got to game it. You got to be keen enough to be like, oh, cool. So what is this professor really focusing on, right? What are they spending most of their time on during an exam and or during lecture? And chances are, from my experience, that's most likely going to be on the exam and stuff like that too. And optimizing your study habits. So like studying right after whenever you can, right? Spending some time to review it, paying attention in class and stuff. There's a lot of different study hacks, man. But like, I mean, that's the thing, just really focusing on where are the gaps between me, like actually doing well in school and whatnot as well. Young Buddha says, I agree 100% about personal responsibility. I never spend money that I'm not willing to lose. Problem solved. Exactly. Like, dude, too much like I'm not gonna lie. Like, dude, every single one of those things I saw on CoffeeZilla's page, like I've been through every single one of those. I bought all of Dan's programs at one point, right? And did I feel like when I bought HTM, did I feel duped? I felt like it was not worth it for me, and that's why I actually stepped away. But I never blamed Dan or any guru or any person I was learning from, because I accepted that responsibility from the beginning. I was like, it's really up to me to get the most value out of this. But at the end of the day, they give you an offer. No one's pointing a fucking gun to your head to buy, right? No one is doing that. And come on, you have to grow up. Like, this is a world where we have to take personal responsibility for our investments. Just like college, whether it's an online program, whether it's a bad real estate deal. It's always up to caveat emptor, man. Like, dude, that's a old Latin term, man. Buyer beware. Like, caveat emptor. Like, that's investing 101. If you can't take personal responsibility, don't invest. Don't even bother, because guess what? You're not going to get these results. And know what's really interesting? I see these channels where they're going in, exposing these gurus, but is that a true accurate like review of a program? I don't necessarily think so, because you're not going in with the intention of completing a program, right? And I'll be honest, I've been very guilty of this. Like especially when I was a lot younger, I would buy these programs, wouldn't go through them, but I never blamed it on that person. Maybe I'm just a little different. Maybe my thoughts are different, but I put it back on myself. No one holds a gun to my head to tell me to buy or anything like that. But I do agree there are internet marketers who kind of blow up their claims, and I really feel like the FTC is going to crack down. I mean, they have been cracking down on a lot of these programs and stuff like that too, and you're going to see more and more of their involvement over the next few years. It's going to be very regulated. But meanwhile, caveat emptor, guys, caveat emptor. Let's see. Everyone uses similar marketing. The marketing itself isn't good or bad. It depends on guru's intentions. If the guru is trying to help people, it has empathy, it's fine to heart close. And actually, what I was gonna do, I was gonna highlight some people that I really like in the internet marketing world. I actually had a whole list. So I'm actually going to maybe dude, I would love to plug in affiliates and stuff, but let me pull up their programs. Who was the last person? Oh, maybe I'll just save it for another video. But there were a few people that I really liked. No, I'll save it for another video. There's like Neville Medora, who does copywriting course. There's Scott Ulsford, who I really respect too. He does really legit marketing. And there's a few other people, but I just want to throw that out there because there are really wholesome, genuine, like authentic marketers out there who don't use those shitty scale. Oh yeah, my friend Rich and Niche, he's totally legit, you know, and I relate to those type of people in the internet marketing a lot more, in the internet marketing world a lot more, if that makes sense. But not everybody's a fucking douchebag, and I'm just like kind of sick of all this complaining sometimes. I just want to I want to highlight the people that are doing it really well too. You know, I feel like there's a disconnect as well. So, let's see, what inspired you for doing YouTube? You know what was really interesting when I started YouTube in 2014ish, it was because the house I lived in, everybody else was a YouTuber, and I always wanted to do YouTube. I saw the rise of, I've been on YouTube since 2006. Like when people are doing stupid prank videos, or Uncle Chin, Uncle Sam days, for if you guys watched JK back in the day, that's the era I was in. I really loved YouTube. I always wanted to be a part of it because I thought it was really cool how you could connect to so many damn people in the world. And then when I connected it with these like YouTube stars in real life, it was really cool. And I was like, man, I wonder what I can do, right? But for me, like I never felt like I was good at anything because I'm not really a comedian. I'm not really like funny like that. I'm also, so I just talked about pharmacy. That's how I first started. And, you know, I just talked about pharmacy, and that's really what I want to do. I just really want to help people. I just really want to connect with people and just share things that I just genuinely love in the world. And so that's why, you know, I know how to optimize a YouTube channel. I know how to go viral, but the truth is, like for this channel, I just don't care, you know, like I don't care, but it's weird. I just don't want to do all those cheesy things like, hey, 3 quick tips for XYZ, 3 quick tips for XYZ. And if you've followed my channel, you've seen like some of my videos blow up. And that's when I kind of started cracking the code of YouTube. But I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I just feel like there's a real big gap for authenticity in the world. And my phone is fucking blowing up right now. Great question, Ray. That's what Danny said. Benzer, if I want to do HTC, how should I start? Save up for the money. I don't know anything about the new HTC, guys. So if you guys are asking me about that, I have no idea at this point. If I do, I'll let you guys know, but I have no idea. I'm in a mastermind right now that is $27 per month. Guys used a lot of good marketing. He talks up to 5 hours a week on Zoom calls and daily in the Facebook group. His marketing had good intentions. That's awesome, bro. Like, you know, for $27, he's definitely undercharging if he's spending that much time, but that's really solid. Cortez de Jose Alberto Oficial. Cool. Rivering Got is in the house. Thank you for the like, by the way. Really appreciate it, guys. Once someone decides that a guru is evil, then they interpret everything that they will ever do. Sorry, I'm having an English fail. Fuck. Once someone decides that a guru is evil, then they will interpret everything that they ever do as evil. The guru cannot win no matter what he does at that point. So it's really not fair. Fair enough, man. Like, it's not. I think one of the things that is lacking online is like people paint these characters very black and white. This person is an asshole. This person is good or bad. When a lot of life and people's intentions are gray, like gray zone, right? Because here's the truth. I'll paint something for Dan Lok, okay? I'm not supporting Dan Lok or doing defamation toward him or anything like that. But let me paint you another side, right? For Dan Lok, what happens if he created students like myself, right? Who got results from that with the 6-figure career? Because if I didn't take Dan Lok's, then there's no fucking way that I would have done high ticket sales leaving my pharmacy job. No freaking way. But because of his program, it changed my life for the better. It kind of allowed me to jump into this digital marketing world, which I always knew I loved. So that's one story. But how many people have to, like, if you're attracting me, but then maybe you attract 20 other people that don't make it, is that worth it? Maybe. What is that number, right? And sometimes, like, the truth is, people just need to accept that if you go into a business, there's always a risk. And what you're trying to do is two things, right? You're trying to assess your risk, because honestly, the more risk that you put in, actually, in the past, I would have said, yeah, you're just trying to mitigate your risk. But the truth is, when you put more risk into the equation, it actually holds you accountable, right? And what I've noticed from people who are successful from programs and who aren't is how often they show up, how committed they are. Are they using all the resources and whatnot as well? Because at the end of the day, there's successful students, there's unsuccessful students, right? It doesn't matter. Success ratio, like one of the number one questions that pisses me off is like, what's the success rate? And success rate is totally irrelevant, because at the end of the day, it depends on context. What is your situation? Because guess what? If I had a foolproof system to start up your online business in 7 weeks, and I'm marketing to a bunch of kindergarteners, what do you think the success rate would be for that? Compared to, I'm teaching these people who have set up successful analog or like physical brick and mortar businesses, right? And I'm teaching them how to go digital. Which one do you think would have the higher success rate? So it's totally irrelevant. Really, at the end of the day, do these programs fill in the gap for me to get to my end destination, if that makes sense? So yeah. So Seton says, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. There's nothing wrong with marketing tactics. As long as marketing tactics can be used for good or evil, I look for coaches who are trustworthy, have empathy, and go above and beyond for their students. Yeah, right. Like, same here, man. I think there's a lot of good people that you can learn from. And even so, like, I've learned a lot from the bad programs I've bought in the past. But, like I said, I don't want to be a dead horse, because I've said it a bunch of times. Like, it goes back on me at the end of the day. So yeah. I can't find my phone. Says, can't stand Dan Lok and his programs, but you seem like a good dude. I wish you the best. Well, I'll tell you this one thing about Dan Lok's programs, man. I used to buy every single one. After I bought HTM though, I'm not saying I felt bitter about it. That's not the word for it, but I looked at it very differently, because at the time I just don't. Well, I don't want to get too into it, but I just didn't feel like I felt like I changed right after that, because I started seeing like, how do I put it? I started realizing that he couldn't fill my gaps in anymore, right? During a time when I really needed his someone like Dan Lok, it was great. But I realized that, just like how Dan Locke kind of moved on to different mentors after that, I felt like I had to do the same thing. And, I'm always grateful. Like at the end of the day, I'm always grateful for what he's done for me. But it's time to move on, man. And next week I'm going to Dan Pena, so we'll see what happens with that. So I'm excited for that, man. But yeah, man, like I've just been learning from different people, and the learning never stops, guys. And it's just like, don't idolize these people. Don't idolize these gurus, these online people, man, because at the end of the day, they're just people, right? And as long as they're helping you with the specific problem, whether it's like, hey, maybe they're giving you the people to help you along the way. Maybe they're helping you with the process, helping you with the strategy. Maybe they're giving you accessibility to tools. Think about it like that, and think about where the gaps are if you're trying to start an Amazon FBA business, drop shipping, whatever business model that you want. But really think, what are the things that I need, or technically you need to get to your end destination? So if you think about it, like that, I think you'll make a better decision, because you won't make irrational decisions. When I stood up at Closers in Black and went into and bought HTM, because at that time, if I asked myself those questions, I wouldn't have bought on impulse. But hey, you live and learn. I didn't die. So like, yeah, it's time to move on. I'm rooting for you. Thanks, brother. Have you ever considered going into a food business? Like some of your friends, pros, cons in your opinion? Well, see, here's the thing. I never thought about going into food business, because it's kind of like in this world, you find your strengths, your weaknesses. I always favor digital businesses because, there's one major con with the digital business, by the way, which I'll highlight in a second. But with digital businesses, I feel like the scalability is there. Being remote is a possibility. You don't need as much for most online businesses, you don't need as much startup as a brick and mortar, but there's a caveat to that. Going digital, starting up an online business, there's a lower barrier of entry, right? So that means anybody, like, it's a lot more people can go in it. And sometimes, just like these online gurus, man, like sometimes they promise the fucking world to you and shit. Like anybody can create a course and all that as well. So yeah, man. But I've never really considered doing a online business or a food business per se. It's just too much headache. Yeah, but maybe one day. I'm not gonna say never, right? But it's just not. I just don't foresee it in the near future for myself, right? The guru should be your coach and friend. He should have a lot of empathy, honesty, and transparent. He needs to be accessible and put in the maximum effort to help out students. And like I said, one of the major things too is like they're just handing you an offer, right? No one is ever forcing you to take an offer. Like, sometimes I talk to people about different programs, because one of the things that I do is high ticket sales, right? And people are like so protective about their like resources. I'm just like, well, you want to build a house. I mean, they're scared that we're going to nickel and dime them for whatever solution. You know what? I'm the most authentic person in the world. I put out all the options on the table, right? If we decide to move forward, you're going to get an offer. If otherwise, like no offer, you don't have to take the offer. Like if it doesn't make sense, right? Like I just don't understand these days where people just feel like, they have a gun to their head. Like, dude, chances are if you're buying a program, you're an adult. Take responsibility, man. Like if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. No one's forcing you at the end of the day. So, Michael says, I can't find my phone. Why can't you stand Dan Locke? Is Dan Locke 10K HTC course good? I have no idea, man. I have not taken his 10K course, but it's been pretty tight-lipped. Like I don't know anything about his 10K course. I have no idea about the details, guys. So been pretty that's why almost every single people book calls with me and stuff like that. And I've been canceling on them just because dude, I have no idea about the new course. And I don't feel like I have the authority to really speak on that like I once did, because, when it was the older program, I went through it, I put it in my all. Nowadays, I don't know if it's worth the 10K. That is a lot of money. It might make sense for some people, it might not make sense for other people, but I feel like here's another important thing about like courses and stuff. People feel like it's going to be the end all be all for a course, right? Don't get me wrong. Like when I did take Dan Locke's course, it changed my life, but it wasn't only because of a course, right? Or it wasn't only because of a program. It's because I put my ass on the line. I put in the work, and I was networking with different people. I was not pitching people left and right. I never did that. But I put in the work, and that's how I got the results. Just like pharmacy school, right? If like with pharmacy school, at the end of the day, pharmacy school is just one step of getting there. They teach you they provide same thing: skills, accountability, mentorship, right? Skills, that's what lecture in the textbook for. Accountability, well, that's what your grades are for when you take an exam. Mentorship, that's kind of your professors offering office hours and whatnot. They're having accessibility to you. But school does not promise you a job at the end of your career, right? And so it's really based off of you. How well do you network? If you think about it the same, then there should be no like surprises, right? But you do get into trouble when you're just like, oh shit, like, this guy is promising me everything in the world. Like that's when you get in trouble, because reality versus expectations is kind of, I don't know. So that's just my thoughts. What is a better professor who will cause you to think to tank your grade, but is good entrance exam? Wait, sorry. What is a better professor who will cause to tank your grade, but is good for entrance exams, MCAT, NCLEX, or a professor that gives you a possibility? I'm not sure if I quite understand your question. I have no idea what your question is. If you want to rephrase it, let's try again. NFG, sorry. Maybe I'm just having like a brain fart, but when I read that, I had no idea what you were talking about. So if every guru had the honesty and empathy of Owen Cook, this industry would be perfect. I'm not familiar with Owen Cook, but yo, dude, let's chat about him later. Thank you for your time. I heard if your GPA is below 2.7, the school removes you from the program. Is that true? Pharmacy question. Well, Ray 20, it really depends on what school you're going to. Usually they're pretty damn transparent. Like there's a real cutoff line for kicking you out of the program and stuff. I mean, I went to school with like a bunch of people. Some people got kicked out sometimes, and they're pretty apparent with that. Like if you talk to you usually get like I wouldn't say guidance counselor, but what do they call it? Like a professor who's your like mentor or who you get assigned to. Not like go to, I wouldn't say admissions. That's not a good. If you go up to a faculty member, I'm sure that they can point you to the right direction about who to talk to if you're looking for that cutoff line. But usually they're very transparent about that, man. Like, and here's the thing, pharmacy is really bad. Like sometimes people like gossip all the fucking time too. Like, so it's better just to get it straight from the source, man. So yeah. Can you elaborate fakery in the corporate workspace? Well, fakery in the corporate workspace. So what the number one thing I don't like about corporate, and this is just my experience, I don't know if it's true at everything, right? That's one thing I try to keep in mind too. But one thing about corporate is like they aren't very direct or transparent sometimes, right? There's always these passive aggressive ways of communication that bugs the fuck out of me, right? Obviously for good reasons too, I guess, right? When you're running a huge organization, you don't want to get sued. There's certain things that you can say, certain things you can't say. There's a lot of regulation behind that. I just don't like that world at all. I just don't like, I just prefer more direct forms of communication rather than like, for example, right? Like, and it happened to me too, but if say that they don't like someone, you can't fire them because you don't like someone. You'll find other ways around that to kind of get them like kicked out of the organization or get them fired. It happens a lot, and it's just the people dynamic of having a big organization. So I think it's just kind of like, yeah, that's just how I feel with the corporate fakeness, I guess, right? But yeah, the guy is doing 5-hour group calls and undercharging, but this community is extremely strong in only 3 weeks. The community is like a garden. You have to water it. You get out what you pour into it. Amen, bro. Like if he's really giving that much value, man, that's amazing. Like that, stick with that. But also realize like why, like I'm kind of curious, man. Young Buddha, like why did you like what made you want to join that particular mastermind? Like what was the end goal for that? I'd love to kind of hear that, bro. Hey Kevin, Lubov says, hey Kevin, what do you think the future of pharmacy looks like with automation and PillPack? What would you recommend for the class of 2024? Residency or retail or hospital? Honestly, it's looking pretty tough. Like I would say get into a very niche. Like, okay, so this is very similar to like any sort of marketing and stuff too. Usually if you go into the major type of things, it's really hard to kind of outcompete against the crowd, right? So you want to stand out. And one of the major things is like, okay, so I'm going to pull up something, ASHP residency directory. And I don't know if I'm the best person to ask about this, but if you go into, I'm just, before I share my screen, I'm just pulling up the screen really quick. But if you're kind of wondering what the niches of like pharmacy are, this is what I like to do sometimes. I like to take a look at the ASHP website. I'll actually link this in the comments below so you guys can take a look at it. But what I would do is, hey, take a look at some of these subcategories, right? And check off which ones do you really like, which ones don't you like. And then like just quickly, right? And then see what kind of jobs people do with these PGY, like these residencies. What is the exact job title that you want to hit? And I think if the more specific you can go with the type of job that you want, the better off you'll be, because then you'll be able to cater your resume, network with the right people, because you know exactly where you're going, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's what I would do, man. But I mean, if you're in right now, it's going to be a tough road. Just keep in mind, but talk to as many people within the field that you want to go in and try and niche down as much as you can. So I think that is a really important thing. Let's see. Michael says, what do you go over in your course? I have a call with you tomorrow. I'm very interested in what you teach. If you offer a high ticket program, how much is it? I currently don't have a high ticket program. The only thing I have is like a, let's go to Kick-Ass Investing. The only thing I really have is like an investing type of thing. It teaches you how to basically build out the 3 pillars of your, of investing as well, right? So like this is what I have. I have Kick-Ass Investing, but it's not like a I wouldn't consider a high ticket, because at the end of the day, it's just the skills part of the skills, accountability, and mentorship. And obviously accountability and mentorship costs the most because you're taking people's time and stuff as well. But Michael, I might actually have to cancel our call for tomorrow, because I believe you booked about Dan Locke, and I have no idea about his new course, so I might have to cancel it, but I'll let you know in a second. Upsells are not bad. None of those things are bad. The best gurus will put maximum effort to make sure that their upsell is actually worth it and give you an ROI. That is right, man. Like purchasing courses is not bad. You know, like you just need to make sure that it fills in the gaps, like your biggest gaps to your destination, right? Just think about the bridge it built, right? Dude, these are such interesting questions because, you know, like, dude, Glenton asked me, going bald at 22, any advice, man? See, so this is one of the reasons why I have trouble niching down to a like one topic for refugee hustle and YouTube, because you know I love talking about all these different subjects. So any advice? Well, if you can't tell, I'm actually balding. Like, so I shaved my head about a year ago. I would say just shave it, man. Just shave it. Try it out. You can always regrow it again. It's not gonna disappear. But shave it. I feel like you like part of it is just rocking the look, man. And I get a lot of compliments actually going bald, man. Versus like keeping my hair. Like, have you ever seen those guys with the spotty hair and stuff? It's just kind of, I don't know. It's not the like it looks spotty, man. I think it's just kind of like accepting it. You know, it's part of age. It's coming of age as well. So. Brandon Hernandez says, do you think healthcare reform will ever address pharmacy work conditions, particularly retail? I don't think so. I really don't think so, because us as pharmacists, we're not vocal enough about it. Unions are supposed to stand up for us and all that sort of stuff, but I don't foresee it happening, man, unless because here's the truth. There's so many pharmacists, right? Like here's the problem with saturation. There's so many pharmacists out there. If you're a new grad, you got like 200K of debt to your name and whatnot. You're going to take any job. You're going to do any working conditions that you can, because you can always find someone to undercut you. And so if we don't change the way that, and just take a stand, then things will never get better. But the truth is, when we have people who come in with a scarcity mentality, it kind of ruins the whole thing, if anything, right? So it's kind of tough, man. I don't have a solution for it, but other than to tell people like, hey, dude, stand up for what you're worth, you know? Like, you're worth for having a lunch break. You can't, like, say no. Fuck it. Just say no, dude, at the end of the day. If you're in a state like California or something like that, they're pretty worker, like you have worker rights and stuff, and you should know your rights and just tell people no, like, I'm taking a lunch break, you know, and that's that. But obviously the scary part is getting fired if you say no. I mean, even though it's your right, I don't know, man. It's going to take either a lawsuit or until somebody gets hurt or something like that for things to really change, in my opinion. But I don't know. If you've seen the film Office Space, have you seen a workplace with similar absurdity? No, I have not. I've never seen Office Space, bro. Is it better to take a professor just for the grade, or a professor that will prepare you for graduate school? Sorry for the first question I asked, didn't make sense. NFG, do both, bro. Like, honestly, I feel like, personally, like the long-term solution is always go with the professor that, you know, build a relationship with the professors that will prepare you, because just doing it for the grade, chances are maybe the professor doesn't give a fuck, and maybe you can't get a recommendation out of them. And I don't know, it really depends on context. But for me personally, I would always go long-term solution. I would want to make sure that I go with the professor that I'm going to learn from the most, that is going to help me the most, man. So I would do that, but I'm not saying that you should do that, if that makes sense. Honestly, if you're less than halfway through, the best, most rational decision through difficult is to drop out of pharmacy school right now. I've seen too many BLS data from Kevin, bro. Yeah, I know, like, but you know, for some reason I get these questions, and people just, sometimes they just don't know where to go. So, you know, I did a cool thing earlier in the chat where I just put physician assistant, optometry, and pharmacy neck to neck together, and maybe I'll do a separate video on that. But yeah, pharmacy is automated in some countries in the world. Yeah, because they're not as clinical as America, man. Like, I went to Hong Kong like a long time ago, and man, Hong Kong is like burning up right now. Really sad to see it in ruins, man. But I feel for a lot of the students there, man. But with like the roles of pharmacy change from country to country. If you're just dispensing, automatically you're gonna, because it's like a checklist, it's an algorithm, right? But when you become more clinical, it's less like, there's a lot of gray area, and that's where I feel like automation is kind of hard to, like, that's really hard to automate, right? Or it's more difficult. Not saying it's impossible, but it's a lot more difficult. This is more relatable to a larger audience. If every guru had the full honesty and transparency of Joe Rogan, that'd be awesome. Joe is honest about his flaws, and he has empathy for the most part. I love Joe Rogan, man. He's like not my role model per se, but I have the very similar like values to Joe Rogan. And I have a lot of the same views as Joe Rogan too, man. So I want to be Asian Joe Rogan, bro. Did you take No Nut November serious? Nah, not at all, bro. I failed that so many times. The mastermind is Aaron Alexander from Evolution Daily. I joined because it makes him fully available as a coach and as a friend. He's one of the boys just like us. Awesome. Why do older Chinese men think it's fine to hawk a loogie in the public streets? I have no idea, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird, man. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, yo, I love being Chinese sometimes, but man, it's those situations where I'm just like, why the fuck do we have to fuck shit up like that, man? Like, we have such a negative perception, but they don't give a fuck, dude. And it's kind of like, I don't know. That's why I probably like Chinatown. Pretty much all Chinatowns smell like trash. All Chinatown like bathrooms are complete trash. Like, they're disgusting, right? But I don't know, man. It's just funny. I feel like especially after the Cultural Revolution, like the culture really changed, right? That's when you started seeing like people not with no manner. Like, this is where you're gonna see the divide between like the Hong Kong and mainland people, man. Like, the Hong Kong sentiment is just like, dude, we're more civilized. We had the British, blah 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 blah. And maybe I'm just like talking out my ass. So if you are from Hong Kong and don't feel this way, okay, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. But I like when I was in Hong Kong, that was the sentiment I got, you know, like as well, right? I don't know why. It's funny, man. Yeah, I agree. It's sad that saturation in our field has led us to settle for crappy work conditions. Yeah. And here's the thing, it's gotten worse. It's absolutely gotten worse because we haven't been able to say no. We haven't been able to charge more for our services. You know, we're doing a lot more than we did like 10 years ago when we first came onto the scene. But, you know, as pharmacists, healthcare professionals, we're such giving people half the time. So we sacrifice ourselves, guys. So, oh man, my voice is getting tired, guys. We gotta, any last minute questions or anything like that, make sure to pop them in the comments below, and make sure to like this video too, man, if you haven't already. Would really appreciate the love. What route would you take if you're a pre-pharmacy student right now? If it's hard choosing to accept the pharm school offer or staying motivated when the future looks so bleak. Lubov, I would tell you this. Lubov Yevsenko, I would tell you this. So whenever you get time, spend like a early morning and take all the things that you like about pharmacy. Why are you doing pharmacy? What are the things that you want in pharmacy? And see if like some of these other healthcare professionals or professions are something that you want. Like if they embody some of the things that you want. For example, I know a lot of people want to be a lot more clinical. So PA actually works really well for a lot of people, man. I'm not telling people, guys, do PA, but the facts are like, looking at the job outlook right now, based off what we have right now, and talking to a lot of my friends, and obviously you should talk to a lot of these healthcare professionals. That's what I would do. It's not too late for you. You don't have to do pharmacy. It's not like you're I know you're pre-pharmacy right now, but you're not locked in yet, right? Try to find an alternative route that fits the lifestyle that you want. So that's my advice to you, man. Honestly, you are a good example of these gurus. What you're doing right now is a good example. Enjoying a conversation with your audience. This earns real trust and builds long-term loyalty. But you know, one thing about me and gurus, man, I'm not a guru because I don't really have anything to sell. Yeah, I have one course, right, that I launched, but that was more of a passion project where, you know, I wanted to learn how to create an offer. I wanted to do all that. Will I scale with ads and stuff like that? Probably. I personally don't foresee myself scaling with ads. Like, it's going to be an asset out there teaching people how to invest over and over and over again. I make an offer, like people either want it, they don't want it. If they don't take it, well, guess what? I gave them a ton of free fucking content that they can use to grow their portfolio and stuff. And yeah, man, like I truly like believe like what I give is really valuable. You know, it's really changed my life, and everything that I share in my full course is great. But so is my free content. It's really like, I feel like it's pretty damn good. I spent a lot of time on it. Now, what sucks about it is that a lot of it got outdated recently. I was like, fucking shit. but that's just courses and stuff like that, and that's one thing I've just realized, So yeah, man, you can use core tactics that work and be responsible. You say, look, there's no guarantees. It's gonna be hard, but it's possible. If you give me full effort, I'll give you the same. It's true, man. Like that's the truth. But I will tell you this, not to take too much responsibility off gurus and stuff. There are people with shitty fulfillment as well, right? There are people with sketchy fulfillment, and that's the hard part. And honestly, that I'm not saying that is it the FTC's responsibility, maybe, but do I really want the government kind of stepping into this field and stuff like that? I don't know. Like it's really, really tricky, man. But I mean, for me, I never worry. Like that's why you go into people's content, you see what they're really like. Do they have that's the thing that's lacking with most people's strategies. Like they're just blasting out ads, but you never see their organic content. Guaranteed, if I launched a high ticket program, you guys could see every single thing that I'm like, what I do, like what my values are. And if they align, right? And then it makes you like have more trust with me, right? But a lot of these gurus or like experts, they don't have any content, man. So, oh man, my voice is getting freaking tired. Holy shit. How's my day structured? It's a pretty well. Here's the thing. Like I was showing you guys my habit tracker, and if you guys, like I said, want to go get your own and opt in to my email list, feel free to go here. But I want to show you my personal habit tracker. Cool. So this is my personal habit tracker. I try to do these things every single day. Especially my habits have kind of changed since I got injured doing jujitsu, but I try to hit all these daily habits per day, and I schedule them out throughout my Google Calendar. I can't show my Google Calendar because I have sensitive like client information on there at the moment, but maybe one of these days I will I'll do a breakdown of my Google Calendar and edit out all the client information as well. So yeah. What cooking oils do you use on keto diet? I use let's see. I use olive oil. I drink like avocado oil. I have hemp oil too, that I take shots of. But that's pretty much it, man. Like, what else do I use? There are other oils that I use for the most part, but that's pretty much what I'm using right now. Any advice for starting a podcast? Yeah, man. Like, I'm actually creating an article based off of gear. So if you have any things like questions about gear, that should be coming up really soon. In terms of gear, buy the best shit that you can, bro. Like, this SM7B has been one of the best investments, but to go more macro in terms of starting a podcast, like think about what's the, I'm not the best at this, by the way, but I feel like you have to have an end destination. Like what are people going to for? What are they seeking? What gap are you filling in their lives, right? Is it kind of like for Joe Rogan, it fills in a curiosity gap for me, fills in sometimes a knowledge gap for me. It fills up a community gap for me because I feel like I'm connected to Joe Rogan and stuff like that. Those are the gaps that Joe Rogan fills in for me. And you got to ask yourself the same. Who are the top podcasters that you like, and what are they doing? Why do you go to them? Why do you follow them? What gaps are they filling in your life? I think that's a great place to start, you know? Woo! Oh my God. Oh, almost done, Kevin. Almost done. Hey, Kevin, I'm currently a P1 at Rutgers. I've recently been considering going into medicine, and my program offers a dual PharmD MD. My options are A, drop out this semester, do undergrad, or B, grind it out, apply this dual degree next year. I feel like pharmacology I'll learn next year may be worth it. What is your take? Like I said, really reverse engineer, like either go on LinkedIn, see what people with a PharmD MD career are actually doing. What are their actual job titles? What companies are they working for, right? So that's one. But also, more importantly, is there any advantage of a PharmD MD over just a regular MD or a regular PharmD, right? What are some of the pros and benefits, right? And I would start asking yourself that. But more importantly, this is not a new program. So I would try to reach out to alumni who have graduated from that program and ask them what their real take is. Like I literally email people cold, and I'm just like, so Rohan, if I were you, I would just like send an email out or LinkedIn out, and maybe I would shoot a video for them, but it would be all along the lines of, hey, blah, blah, blah. Hey, doctor, blah, blah, blah. You know, I saw that you graduated from Rutgers PharmD MD program X years ago. You know, I would love to get your take on the program. Would you be open to grabbing coffee or lunch? Obviously, my treat. I can work around your schedule. How does that sound? Would you be willing to speak to me? Something like that, man. Something easy like that, and just like ask like if they say no, you just respect it. Move on to the next person. But I think talking to people is so underrated, man. Like that's how you find out all the real details, because they don't want to write you a 10-page essay about what it's like. It's a lot easier to have a conversation, take them out to coffee, and just go from there, man, at the end of the day. And obviously pay for the fucking coffee too, right, guys? Don't be cheap, man. Like they are giving you their experience, and that's important. Man, I just found out Fred Lamb is a mentee of Dan Lok. Oh my God, Fred Lamb. Oh God, I see his ads. I get targeted for his ads all the time. I can't stand it. Like, it's so cringy. It's just like, and I keep in mind, I don't know anything about Fred Lamb. I've never taken his course, but he's like, I'm just going to pull out a random book, but let's take out this book. I barely have any books in my room anymore, but it's kind of like, oh, hi, I'm driving in my new car. And guess what? I wrote this book called, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just like, dude, this is so fucking cringeworthy because it's so abrupt. It's so not authentic. It's so not natural, right? This is like the worst, not the worst ad. Obviously, people, no, I wouldn't say fall for it. That's not the word. But some people really like that type of advertisement. I'm just like, dude, this is fucking cringy. I just like, I like to, I just like the more natural, authentic types. There's no right or wrong types for marketing, but that's just my opinion, man. So that's pretty funny. Oh God. Fred Lamb is 30 years old. He looks like he's 16, bro. Like really, really young. Yeah. So let me pull up Fred Lamb. If you guys don't know Fred Lamb, you guys will get targeted. I didn't even know how old he was, but you know, it's really interesting because if you pull up Fred Lamb's channel really quick, right? Same outline as like Dan Lok, like same font, same. Oh shit. What the fuck is this shit? Oh my God. Hope I don't get demonetized for that. But this is his page, and this is his, like, everything looks pretty much the same as well, like pretty much step by step for Fred. But I mean, he's killing it apparently, so I'm not going to take away from his hustle, but you know, it just doesn't fit me, if that makes sense, right? So is approximately 80K in student loans after graduation worth it? Good deal for pharmacy school. And like I said, it really depends, man. You have to know your end destination to see if it's worth it or not. So lol, dude, this is come in and eat Dan so much. Yeah, guys. All right, guys. I am exhausted. I have been streaming for like the last hour and 12. I'm just fucking exhausted, guys. So, all right. Okay, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for the 19 people who showed up today, or plus more. I feel like this YouTube channel is actually growing, surprisingly. Really, really great. Knowing that I haven't been posting up that much content, but I'm really glad that you guys are really enjoying it. You like the Q&A style. Really dope, man. But I'm actually going to go eat some dinner. I got to submit my questions to Dan Pena, man, for next week. So we'll just go from there. I appreciate you guys. Feel free, guys, if you guys can do me a huge favor, or if you guys need any help, please do me a favor. Subscribe to Refugee Hustle. Go to refugeehustle.com. You got any questions, go to Got Questions. more than happy to shoot you a video back, man. At this point, man, I always love shooting people videos and just a more personal interaction. I mean, chances are if you've emailed me before, you know how I roll, man. So we'll just go from there. But I'm probably going to be really busy this week just because, I'm getting my MRI. I got into 2 car accidents last week. I'm trying to settle that. And I have to prepare for Scotland and stuff like that too. So, oh boy. Talking like this is the best style of communication. We are in a Facebook group for 4 years. We all know each other 100x better with only three Zoom calls. Some Choi, I'm new here. Well, welcome, man, but I am headed out. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Have a great week, and I love you guys. Take care. Peace.